Good afternoon, Orange County and beyond. What a beautiful fall day it is. I'm Heather Bell, the Director of Membership for the Orange County Chamber of Commerce, and welcome today. We are going to introduce you to Justin Longofero, the founder and CEO of Final Approach Consulting. Justin had a career previously in advertising and tech in the corporate sector, and he decided in May to start his own venture as an entrepreneur. And he immediately recognized the value of an investment in his county chamber. So, welcome, Justin.
Thank you so much, Heather. Pleasure. Happy to be here.
I'm glad that you're here. And I am personally connected because I had the distinct pleasure of talking to you as you were starting your business and brought you through to the chamber. So we have our own little connection here. How scary it is to start a brand new business in the middle of a pandemic.
Very scary.
Yeah.
Ton of unknowns, ton of, the economy was kind of starting and stopping. Kind of getting our footing was a little bit of a challenge right out of the gate, but definitely very, very scary.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know what it was like when I started mine, and it wasn't during a pandemic, and it was scary. Tell us, what is Final Approach Consulting, Justin?
Yeah, so we're a full service data analytics and strategic advisory firm that helps companies make better business decisions through data driven insights.
Okay, so let's break that down for the layman. What does that mean for my business?
I think like before we, you really need to understand like what data analytics is, right? So really simply, data analytics is the process by which you analyze data, assemble patterns, trends, understand kind of really what's happening with your business, right? And what is a data tells a story, and it's really in really multifaceted. So it's not only a good use case is marketing, right? How do you know that putting $100 behind a Facebook post or $10 million behind a Facebook post is going to drive a 2x 3x return in sales? But really there's a lot of data that's generated from these platforms that really help us to understand is it working based on your goal, based on your objective. Outside of marketing, potentially maybe you're a small retail shop, right? And good use cases during the pandemic, a lot of retailers have been forced to close their doors.
Right.
Now suddenly you're forced to go e-commerce. How do you do that if you're a traditional brick and mortar store, right? There's a ton of data. How do you reach your right customer? Inventory, shipping, your website, is it set up for that? We can kind of analyze your sales, on an annualized basis and predict, kind of what you can expect, right? We're also doing some interesting work right now for small local sponsorships with a national retailer, where we can evaluate, how they're investing in sponsorships. So that's again kind of another use case.
Very interesting. Justin, delivering insights for organizations and what types of methodologies do you use? Tell us about how that works.
Yeah, so typically, we can build business intelligence solutions. So really, that is a dashboard, web accessible dashboard, where we can build, based on your goals, your objectives, your key metrics, your key KPIs. We can plug into any data that you have, whether it be sales data, marketing data, logistics, or supply chain level data, and build out a business intelligence solution, which gives you a kind of point in time. Business intelligence solutions are descriptive rather than predictive, meaning they really show you a point in time of what's happening, but they don't necessarily give you okay, here's what's happened, what to do about it, right? That's kind of where the human capital comes in, from a team like Final Approach Consulting, where we have a team of data scientists, data analysts on staff to kind of help you interpret that data and put forward a prescriptive optimization to understand what to do about it, right? And then we can also do predictive analytics work. So based on historical trends, over the course of 6, 12, 24 months, for example, we can look at those trends and predict an outcome based on how things are. And for a business, in a business context, in a business setting, it's super powerful, right? If you're able to kind of understand or predict what you can expect from a seasonality perspective, if you're a retailer, help you from an inventory and planning perspective. Um, we can also do a ton of audience work, so we can do data mining techniques where we can actually scrape social media profiles, and really help you build out a target persona of who the right customer is that you should be reaching. So we did a project recently for a small Mexican beer import company where we scraped about 50,000 profiles to identify who their target customer is that they should be creating who they should be creating marketing communications for, who they really should be going after. So those are just a kind of a few use cases of a few approaches that we kind of employ to do some of our work.
I always love the examples. It really puts things into perspective for you. And this really explains how you can take data and use it as a marketing tool versus throwing darts at a wall, basically. So end users typically make the decisions, and making the decision from data insights, how is that decision made from the data insights to that you provide to the companies?
Yeah, I mean, typically, the data is presented in a variety of ways. The first could be, it could be a dashboard, where we give access. We also kind of consult and provide, recommendations and key takeaways on, what they're looking at. The other is typically a formalized PDF document or a formalized PowerPoint of, kind of that dashboard and charts, graphs, trends, and then we really pick apart those spikes in those charts and in those graphs to understand, what happened at those peaks, right? And then really kind of dig in to understand, what's happening in that time series to give our end users, and typically our customers are in a corporate setting, they're anywhere from manager, director, VP, all the way up to kind of C-suite, CMO level, CFO, that type of thing. Where they are, looking at the data, and kind of saying, okay, I'm going to green light, another $5 to $10 million marketing program, or we're seeing a dip in sales in XYZ location in this retail environment. We need to pull funding from that store and invest it in a higher performing store, or we need to heavy up our marketing communications efforts in an underperforming store to drive sales, to drive additional volume. So it really is a variety of formats. For some of the folks that are data savvy and really get it, a dashboard typically is enough. But for some of those higher level conversations, typically, they need to be digested and kind of broken down a bit and really translated into actionability, and for something that these end users can make decisions from.
Interesting. I'm going to jump ahead from our original conversation because I think it's important to bring this question to the forefront. How can you help businesses ranging from the mom and pop to the larger enterprise?
Yeah, I mean, I think for a mom and pop, it's how how do you get traffic, right? How do you get customers? What do you know about your customer? Who is your target customer, right? Because so doing that customer journey, and really understanding who your customer is, their habits, their buying behaviors, is really important, right? To long term success and value. And then downstream, to the big enterprises, there's really two pieces that I've kind of run across. There's companies that have a lot of data, that don't know what to do with it, right? Or it's the
Mhm.
latter, which are companies that don't have any data and know they need it to deliver personalization to their customers, because companies are customers. We as consumers are craving personalized experiences, right? The way we shop, the way we eat, the way we go out and communicate with our friends. If a company doesn't offer a personalized experience for me as a consumer, chances are I'm not going to buy from them, right? So
Right.
helping that company, helping that customer to really utilize that data to deliver those meaningful customer experiences, is a kind of another way we work with large enterprises.
Okay. Now, what changes have you seen in the sector? Like, what are clients and companies, what are they looking for? What kind of data are they looking for typically? And I know it changes from a smaller business to a larger enterprise.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say, typically the things that are universal are, target customer. Who is the target customer? Where are they? How do they show up? Their consumption patterns. Competitive analysis information is super important as well. So if I can have a pulse on who the competitor is, what they're doing, how they're doing it, how they're conducting business and marketing activity, that's something that's kind of a common request. Um, BI solutions are also pretty large on the medium to enterprise level environment in terms of, they are again, the companies that have a lot of data and don't know what to do with it. They're looking for ways to tap into it and to understand, kind of what's happening, the trends, patterns, behaviors, etc. So that's kind of what I'd say are kind of some of the common requests. But we can deliver a kind of a customized solution, to kind of right size or fit the need of any client out there, really.
So I'm just hypothesizing here for a
Sure.
second, and I'm just kind of gonna improv with you a little bit. I am considering opening a some kind of business, some kind of small business, and I'm trying to figure out where the best place to put that small business would be. Would you analyze the data of trend needs and possibly where what area would be best for me to potentially put that business to set up that shop to have a retail business per se? Would that be something that you would provide?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we can conduct market analysis and we do that frequently, so we can understand the market, in terms of population density, volume, zip code level information, and really kind of create an assessment to say, okay, based on your business and the type of business that you are looking to open in this location, this may be a really high volume area, or quite frankly, this might be a not a high volume area because it's not the right customer, right? Or for the right audience that you're trying to attract, for your business. So 100%, that's absolutely something that we do, and we do that frequently. For companies that are just starting out, or even you kind of more established companies that have been at it for 10, 20, 30 years. They frequently will come to us and ask for a market analysis to.
Okay, so let's go bigger market analysis now. So that's small business. That's, I want to set up a cupcake shop. Obviously, I want you to tell me not to put it next to a bakery. Let's
Yep.
go bigger. Um, Metro North, Port Authority, something like that. We need more train stops. Would you be able to analyze where the population is that needs to commute to the city, perhaps, and where they would need to potentially consider putting in more stops?
Yep, 100%. In a similar use case, that's a perfect use case, actually. Again, of a way that we can work with a larger enterprise. We can work with publicly available data if they don't have the data, or we can also work with their own internal data as well to kind of understand and analyze trends, patterns, volume, peak times of day in terms of the train use case. What are the stations that are seeing that are the trains are most congested, right? What are the peak volume windows? What is the parking lot situation in terms of when people are actually coming to the train in the morning? Is more parking required because there's so much volume, right? Or is it from an actual getting to that train station, is it difficult? Are other train stations seeing overflow because the train station closest to their home is too difficult to get to, right? So that those are all perfect kind of examples of the things that we can do. And from an insights perspective,
It doesn't stop there.
yeah, those are really, those insights coming out of an analysis like that are saying, hey, Metro North, you need to open another train station because train station X is, got too much volume during peak commute times. And you really seriously need to invest in a second location near zip code XYZ.
That's great. And we focus primarily on market analysis for location, just in the examples, but there is, human resources analysis. There's so many other ways that you can analyze data. and provide good recommendations to organizations as to how they can grow. Am I hitting it?
Yeah,
All right.
no, yeah, I mean, there's a ton of use cases. I mean, from an HR perspective, typically attrition is a big one that HR professionals like to look at. Attrition, time, role, voluntary or involuntary exits. We could build spin up a business intelligence solution to help HR professionals, quickly dive into those data points to understand trends. Recruiting also, recruiting is a major issue for a lot of companies. How long does it take to fill an open role, right? Where are they getting recruited from? Is it an existing company? Is it another company? Those are all things that can be brought into one holistic dashboard to understand those things at one click glance.
Thank you, Justin. I have one more question for you, and we talked about this earlier. Coming from a nonprofit background that I do, are there any community organizations that are philanthropic that Final Approach is supporting?
So we're a brand new business, and we're still in an exploratory phase.
Well, I think Justin is freezing up on us, so I will share with you that Justin is a huge supporter, as is his team, of the Alzheimer's Association and the American Cancer Society. So he is working with both of these organizations locally as well and supporting them. And I want to thank Justin for allowing us to continue to support and grow his business, and to all of our corporate partners and our members for their dedication and their commitment to the mission of the Chamber. I want you to check out our schedule of events that are on Facebook and orangeny.com. Join us as we introduce you to more of our members, to our master classes and our ribbon cuttings. These can all be found out on both Facebook and out on our schedule of events at orangeny.com. Justin, I think you've stopped freezing, and I've shared about your interest to work with the Alzheimer's Association and the American Cancer Society. And I'm just going to finish up and say, Orange County, next week we have Healthy Life and Work Balance with the Alzheimer's Association on Monday. That is open to members and non-members, but it is a closed Zoom session, so you do need to sign up for it. orangeny.com. And then on Tuesday, we have Janet Gianetta of Visions HR, who will be sharing with our members how to get certification for sexual harassment training. And you can sign up for that at orangeny.com. And even if you are certified, you do need to be recertified every year. So go ahead and sign up for that. That's free to members. Also, next week for Meet the Member, we have Essentials for Change. So go ahead and join us next Wednesday for that. And we've added another virtual speed networking. 12 o'clock seems to be the time that everybody is enjoying having lunch. So that will be October 14th at noon. Virtual speed networking that is open to non-members for a small fee of $10. You have to sign up to join us. Thanks so much. Have a great day.